Might as well finish off these pancakes. Anybody want to watch a mukbang video? Oh, yeah, pretty interesting. Uh, I don't think this Netflix thing is going to happen anytime soon. Canada should be getting, some of their funding put back into Head2Form. Yeah, it'd be nice to see Netflix and stuff start producing. Like they always just take our stuff from us. Like now they have like Trailer Park Boys, all this other nonsense. Letterkenny, I think, is now. Actually, no, Letterkenny, I think, is still Crave. Or is it Shoresy? One of them is getting shipped down to the States. We had quite the thunderstorm here last night. And the lightning was super fast. Like, flash. Like, normally it kind of like lingers in the sky here. This was like fast, like almost War of the Worlds kind of shit. It was nuts. But it only lasted maybe 20, 30 minutes. Where I am at, I'm right in a valley. So the storm hits, it either goes on one side of the valley or on the other side. Actually, it's a combination of two valleys that make it do that. I'm going to make supper here soon, but I think I'm going to throw everything in the air fryer. Oh, this air fryer I got now is pretty good. Made pork chops yesterday, had steak the night before. I think that's the last of our steak. Everything else we have now, it's like red meat is, I think, deer. And if I'm going to cook the deer, I got to put it in the slow cooker. Have to. And season it properly. I'm not a big fan of deer, though. Interesting. Tonight's chicken legs. Chicken. The chicken legs, until about a month ago. The fat on the skin was so gross. I've never seen chicken fat, the skin that fatty, like chicken fat or chicken skin that fat. But now it seems to be getting back under control. So I don't know if they changed like the way they're feeding them, or it's obviously not the supplier, because the suppliers pretty much control the chicken market here in Canada. Yeah, I definitely got to season it for sure. But they're good cuts. Well, obviously. Her brother and her dad don't mess around when it comes to their deer meat. They used to put all their, they used to, back in the day when Sandra was growing up, they wouldn't be able to use the bathtub for like a week and a, I think it was 14 days. So 2 weeks, they couldn't use the bathtub because they'd have the deer soaking in the bathtub in the house, just fucking getting it ready to cut up and stuff. Oh, some people are really picky. Like I have some people say it has to be hung for 10 days. Some people are like, no, just cut it right up now. Like, why hang it? I don't know. I couldn't tell you the difference. I don't have any like controls to tell you the difference between deer meat and whether you hang it or just cut it up right there on site. Like, I know a lot of hunters, they just cut it up on site too. So, you know, see how that goes. I had a buddy asking me for more deer meat the other day. Had some pickerel the other day. Ugh. And of course, it's our last batch pickerel. Cook it up. It was the worst pickerel I've ever had. And of course, the other pickerel we had, or the piece that the wife took, had to be the biggest, fattiest piece, and it was absolutely full of bones. Meanwhile, none of mine had bones in it. Just the taste was horrible. And normally pickerel, I have no problems eating pickerel. It's normally a pretty good freshwater fish to eat. It's not that fishy. But holy, this tasted like it came from a fishery, like that fake salmon. Hey Tolga. I had a buddy, he bought a whole semi trailer of salmon, full salmon. They just had the guts taken out, so they had to be deboned and everything. And he's asking me, hey, he got connections. He helped me get rid of some of this fish. I'm like, okay, give me a box. So gives me a box of it. I don't even leave his house. I look at the box and it says Atlantic salmon from BC. I'm like, okay, it's not Atlantic salmon, but that's what it said on the label, Atlantic salmon, and then from some BC fisheries. I'm like, dude, you're fucked. Like, you should have read the labels on the boxes. Like, there's no way I could fucking sell this. There's no way I could even sell this to a Chinaman. And that's the first people I call. I was like, called up all my Chinese friends. No, Chinamen wouldn't even take it, and they fucking take anything. Like, wow, you got like beef tongue, eel, just the weirdest stuff. Cold washed pig intestines, no problems. We'll take that stuff all day. But yeah, that Atlantic salmon from BC was so funny. Oh, yeah, no way you're gonna get rid of that, bud. And then, first of all, we're in the middle of Manitoba. Like, even just try and tell people you got fresh salmon. Yeah, it's not gonna fly. I think he ended up freezing it all, and then he just dumped it all on somebody else. But yeah, a semi trailer full of salmon. Like, first of all, you have to have the freezers to be able to handle it. I think he ended up renting the trailer, the refrigeration trailer, which cost him quite a bit of money, considering it's probably a new trailer. I don't know what the wife did to those pancakes this time, but these are way better than the last batch she made. Almost like a crepe kind of batter. She must have tried something different. Normally, when she finds something, she sticks with it. She doesn't change it. And then the other day, she made oatmeal, raisin, banana bread cookies. And I don't know, it must be your diabetes or insulin. She's like, I can't taste the bananas. Holy F, you can't taste the bananas. There's something seriously wrong with you. And I thought something was wrong with me. I've been dumping salt all over my food. Nothing, nothing. No salt. It's because the wife put powdered salt in the salt shaker. Powdered salt, not granular salt. So I'm using twice as much. Well, it looks like twice as much. Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too. I might just start doing everything from the laptop here soon. Well, I'm gonna have to, because with what I'm doing with OBS right now, it'll start having like screens either up here or right here, or just change the background so it has like what I'm talking about, whether the news articles or if I have to make up pictures to go with the articles. I don't know. That's pretty much all I use AI for right now. Um, is just making pictures. And some of those cartoons, like I don't agree with them. That's the whole point of them being political cartoons. Some people probably like, "Oh, that cartoon sucks." It's like it's a political cartoon. Like I'll let AI pick that out. I don't give a shit. But when it comes to other stuff, like I can't even trust AI when it comes to factual stuff. Like it's so bad. The couple times I have used, like, for instance, Gemini, uh, I have to fact check the shit out of her the last couple times I've used her. So it's just not even worth wasting my time using AI. Like for fuck's sake, she didn't even know who oh, what's his name? Now I can't remember his name. Not Gerald Bull. Uh the there's a guy from Carmen I was trying to get more information on, and nothing on this guy. Absolutely nothing. I'm like, how do you not have information on this guy? And so AI couldn't find the information on this guy, so then started feeding me a line of BS about this guy. I was like, okay, we're talking about the same aviation guy. They're like, oh yeah, 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 it's the same aviation guy. No, no, it's not. Like I've done so much research on this guy. I could probably tell you what his dominant hand was when he was jerking off. So yeah, and it's a different device. That's another thing. Oh, and I have a headset now too. They just bother my ears because they push, and my ears get sore. So my ears don't quite fit in there. So that's pretty much the only reason. And if I'm eating, the mouthpiece is annoying. Or even just trying to drink, I forget the mouthpiece is there, bang it into my face. Oh, so yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be an interesting week when it comes to news headlines and stuff. Like this whole weekend was about California and that tank about to explode. And a bunch of people have already started lawsuits against the aviation company, MKT or something like that. I don't know. It was like, well, why did we know about these chemicals that were sitting there next to us? I don't know, because that company's probably been there longer than like all that area has been there. They just got developed around, which happens with a lot of things. Development starts. It's like in Winnipeg, Manitoba. There's a facility where they grow mushrooms. Okay, if you've ever seen or smelt what it's like to be around a mushroom facility, it smells worse than death. I'm not even joking. You can't quite pinpoint what the smell is. It's in between pig intestines, manure, and rotting dead bodies. Yeah, that's a fair conclusion of to how it kind of smells. But it's bad. But in Winnipeg, what they did is they started building infrastructure around this facility. It was on the outskirts, but now just everything is around. Like even around Winnipeg, two of the biggest landfills in actually the two landfills around Winnipeg. Well, yeah, I guess I could say two of the biggest because there are private landfills, but two of the city-controlled landfills are right next to housing projects. And it's insane that literally across the highway you have this landfill and it is sky high. Like you just look up and you can see a fence just covered in paper and garbage. But like it's so gross. And then after a nice rain and then a hot summer day comes up, I don't know why people are paying $250,000, 30 to $500,000 for some of these homes. It's just absolutely disgusting. Like what would make you want to buy a house there in the first place? Like, you'd be like, oh, it's not like the houses are cheaper in that area to buy. They're still super expensive, but like, imagine being a real estate agent. You're like, hey, Al, hey, can we come take a look at that house today? Be like, oh shit, it rained today. Or it rained yesterday, and it's really hot outside. Maybe it's not a good day. Can we wait till like maybe a cooler day to show you the house? Oh my goodness. And it's good to see Winnipeg is starting to clean up some of these derelict houses. They've been going after these landlords with abandoned homes in Winnipeg for I don't know how long. And now they say that they're going to start just tearing them down under the expense of the homeowners. Well, first of all, the homeowners aren't paying the taxes on these homes in the first place. You're not going to get blood from a stone. And to tell you the truth, the city should have just taken control of these homes in the first place and had them completely destroyed. Like that murder that happened in Winnipeg a couple years ago, where this guy went shot and killed like three people over some meth or crack. And it was like three of his friends. That was the fucked up part. He was just so cracked out, he fucking killed his friends. But they were in a crack house, an abandoned crack house, and it was known to police. Like, first of all, if that house wasn't there, maybe those other three lives wouldn't have had to deal with that trauma. So I don't know. So who's at fault? And then some of the major fires they're having in Winnipeg on down in downtown, little suspicious. I'm pretty sure some of these landlords are paying some homeless people to go and light these buildings on fire due to the fact that, they can't afford to have the asbestos removed from the buildings and have them properly demolished, which is pretty sad. So, I don't know. If it's burnt down, it's less to clean up, and then less headache for the city. I know they say it puts a strain on the fire departments and stuff like that. I think they had 7 fires in one night, just in a couple block radius of each other. They did catch a guy, but I don't know, like, you can't like I said, you can't get blood from a stone. You're gonna charge that guy for arson. Meanwhile, he probably got his money from the landlord who paid him to burn these properties down. It's just the way things are happening. But I don't know, like, can the city really complain? The building's gone now. Tell you the truth, they should have been burnt down in the first place. Like you complain about, oh, okay, well, there's asbestos and toxic stuff in there. There's lead paint and there's zonolite, all this other crap. Okay, well, how is it any different just burning them down? You just put that stuff into the atmosphere now. So really, they're either going to get burnt down or you got to tear them down. So you got to pick one. But it's good to see that Winnipeg starting to crack down on that. Oh, yeah, and there was some Satan's Choice member. I can't didn't get quite a lot of information on him, but there was a Satan's Choice member apparently murdered last week, the end of last week. I should probably look into. Don't know what happened. I think there's 3 people involved though. It wasn't just him who was murdered. It was him and some other people. And then I wonder whatever happened with that Scott Bernstein biker guy or mafia news guy. Was it Gangsters podcast or whatever he does? Whatever happened to that Scott Bernstein? I think he got a good stern talking to from Harley Gwindon or a few of his guys for saying that, this is a biker war that got started when Harley's place got firebombed there and kind of instigated a war by not having the proper information. Because yeah, Harley's place got shot up. His business got firebombed a couple times, but the firebombing was just because of some disgruntled homeless guy that Harley was like kind of taking under his wing, gave him free clothing, fed him and stuff. And then when all that stuff stopped, he disgruntled and started, you know, tried to burn his businesses down. So, and then Bernstein saying that was because of some beef between a existing Hell's Angel member. Can't quite remember his name. He looks like Quagmire from uh, that Family Guy, the Family Guy or whatever. Yeah, he looks like Quagmire, all juiced up. Harley called him out a couple times for a boxing fight. Never happened. He bitched out. Not Harley, but the other guy bitched out. Well, due to the fact that his father is a quite a significant person when it comes to boxing history, and Harley's been around the block when it comes to boxing as well. He's not your average street fighter. He's quite trained at boxing. But yeah, Scott Bernstein there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got a good talking to. because he didn't. He kind of fed flames to the fire even more when it came to what was happening between what's going on in Oshawa between the 81s and the Satan's Choice. Oh, oh man, there's so much stuff I wanted to talk about just from this weekend, but I don't know, just picking and choosing all the good stuff. Some of it's bullshit. There's some new technology coming out about lithium batteries that I was talking about with the fast charging cycle that they have, but now there's new technology where they're mixing lithium and is it sodium? I think it's lithium sodium batteries right now that they're working into that are apparently less volatile than previous lithium batteries. Okay, you're gonna do this to me again? Okay, this is really weird. Okay, StreamYard, what the hell is that all about? This is twice you've done that to me now in two separate streams. It says on StreamYard, it says that my camera is not compatible with this browser, which obviously it is because I was perfectly fine until just a minute ago. What else is happening in Canada? Yeah, the maritime budget. What was it? $816 million going towards maritime budget and Arctic security. That's going to go for radar detection, and the Coast Guard is supposed to be getting some new equipment, including drones, some new equipment. There's quite a bit of stuff happening. No real talk about what they're doing for Arctic defense, though. I know they're talking about putting a base in either Yellowknife or Iqaluit. I'm pretty sure there's already quite a significant military presence in the Yukon right now. So, what else is happening? Would talk about what Trump's doing, but fuck, everyone else is talking about fucking Trump this, Trump that. Oh my goodness. I know, what's his daughter had death threats from Iran there, where they're, I don't know, planning on either killing her or kidnapping her, something like that. But I don't know, like, it's probably not the first time president's, you know, uh, child or has been in danger. It's probably just the first time that we're hearing about it. And that's another thing. How many of these things that have been happening with Trump, like it's turned into a media circus. And I said this during his first time in office that he's going to turn the government into a media spectacle. And it's kind of funny, like, what is the next step for politics? Is to, politicize it over the media, and which is kind of what Trump is doing right now. Yeah, and then things with Trump, like he says one thing one night. He's like, okay, we signed a deal. We got an agreement with Iran. And literally, Iran's like hours later, but you don't hear it in the media until the next day. It's like, okay, well, Iran didn't agree to that. Okay, why am I hearing like literally after Trump says it, I can go online and find out what Iran is about to say. And you know what they're going to say? We want our nuclear weapons. Like, I'm sorry, we want our nuclear enrichment facilities still. Like, and really, what's even funnier about this whole Iran thing? Okay, like think about this: Iran and Israel want, or sorry, yeah, America and Israel don't want them to have nuclear capabilities. Okay, okay. Get this. You know what the eighth country in the world is to have nuclear weapons? The eighth country? North Korea. Okay, so Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons and they don't want them to have nuclear weapons. And then meanwhile, there's like North Korea just flaunting the nuclear weapons. We're fuck the US, fuck the US. It's like, okay, like what is going on here? Like, can help me make sense of this. somebody. 100%, 100% Tolga, 100%. Oh yeah, this whole thing is just messed up. Like why Iran? Because Israel said so, and that's another thing that I can't believe Trump fell for. You know, it's like you see a girl on the side of the highway, and then you stop. And this is Israel right now. You stop because you want to help them right now. And then once you realize that, I'm going to help this person, then they get in the car. And then you're about 30 minutes down the road. And then you're realizing why the fuck this crazy bitch is standing on the side of the road. And this is exactly what's happening with America and Israel. Like, America's like, okay, we'll help you. We'll help you. And then once they get in the car, it's like, holy fuck, get the fuck out, you crazy bitch. Like, that's exactly what's happening between, like, we have to do this now. What? Because Satan Yahoo said we have to attack Iran right now. It's like, this is the best strategic time to do this. It's like, okay, yeah, right. And what's really funny is Satan Yahoo, before this conflict started, was it 28 days before the conflict started, he was diagnosed with what? Prostate cancer? Okay, now think about this. He kept this a secret until about a month after the conflict had already been going on. Now think, if he would have told people 28 days before the conflict started that he had prostate cancer, and then he goes and says, let's start bombing Iran. Now, don't you think that people will be like, whoa, okay, wait a minute, this guy's not thinking clearly. He must be sick. Or he's sick. He's not thinking clearly. But no, he kept it a secret. So people would not question his ability and his mentality at that moment in time dealing with this cancer diagnosis. Now, how fucked up is that? And now everyone's like, oh, now he's sick. Now he's the wounded duck. Like, oh, we got to take this duck home. We got to, wash him up with your Dawn soap and, caress him and make sure everything's going to be okay. No, that's not what is happening. Like, it, if you know anything about Israel, just look into the Mossad. Yeah, and one thing I don't get, you have all these Jews sitting there, we got to live this certain way. We got to abide by these rules. Okay. Okay, you got to eat things that are kosher, right? You're not supposed to kill bugs and you have to, slaughter animals a certain way so it's humane. But yet you're no different. You're going out there and slaughtering people. And you're supposed to be compassionate, Jewish believing people. Like, this is what doesn't make any sense. And it's like, okay, I'm religious, but yet I have to join the Israeli army. And one day, this is why you have the Hasidic Jews who leave Israel, or people who become Hasidic Jews, is because they don't want to fight these wars. So people will just purposely get into religion so they don't have to fight Israel's war, and which is kind of funny because they're supporting their government. Like, the mentality of some of these people, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'd really like to hear where these people are coming from. And even if I did, well, I do know where these people are coming from, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, well, these countries, they've been bombing us, so you just bomb them right back, and then still, like, you have ceasefires between Israel and, was it Lebanon or whatever? They're constantly bombing each other back and forth, whether there's a ceasefire or not. Or there's some stupid asshole who's got to cross the line, across the border with a gun or a knife and stab somebody and just stir everything up again. It's just nonsense. It's just complete, absolute nonsense. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, being weary of what AI has to offer us. And you know what's funny? This is another thing I can't understand. They're talking about building all these data centers. Okay, think. Okay, we have Gemini, we have Grok, we have all these other AIs right now. And then we have the AIs that Canadian government have been working on, the US government have been working on. I'm talking about militarily and like government wise, working on all these AI projects. Okay. So until a point, we were doing fine with these data centers, right? We were doing completely fine. Why do we need all these data centers now? Like, really think about that. What were we using before that made us have to jump to such an extreme where we have to build all these multiple data centers? What is the real agenda behind these data centers? Because to build all these data centers doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we were doing fine before with these data centers, and now it's just getting out of control. What were we using before? Because we're always getting like yesterday's technology from what we perceive as new. It's not new. It's like the Hubble Space Telescope. Before it was like even like it was used for military purposes before we got to play with it. And certain things like that. There's lots of spacecraft that are still out there that were military based, and now they're privately owned by like Google, uh, Amazon, SpaceX have all purchased these old technologies. So what is really up there, and what are they really using all these data centers for? Yeah, a new arena for war. Yeah, like, are these just going to be all backups of backups of backups? Because in the movie Terminator, you get to the source and you kill the source, then the army is useless. So uh, it, it's an interesting thought. Yeah, and to lose all that money, that doesn't make any sense either. And some of these data centers, they're running diesel generators to power these data centers. Like, and it's not just as a backup. This is like what they're running on. You have people in the states that are talking about this, them living around data centers, the hum from the diesel generators, the smoke from the startup from the diesel generators, and the shutdowns of diesel generators. So they got to go through a cool down period too, especially if they're in hot climates. These diesel generators sit there and idle till they get to a cooling temperature, and yeah, so it just doesn't make any sense. There's too much money getting dumped into these with very little output. 100% right, Tolga. It just something doesn't make sense. It can't just be warfare. There's got to be something even bigger than this. Like, there's talk of the whole world agenda, and this digital currency and digital tracking. You know, they could probably do that with 10 data centers, not the hundreds that they're building. Like, so are we are these data centers for like each country, to kind of sit there and see what they're up to? Like, because it can't just be for the US people or American citizens or the Canadian citizens or what Mexico is doing. Yeah, and there's a lot of people, like even movie stars right now. People who this is one thing I don't get. You have movie stars who were sitting there just protesting a couple years ago, worried about their jobs because of AI. Now figure this out. Now you have some of these celebrities who fought, this whole AI technology because they're worried about their jobs. Now some of these celebrities are all on board with this new AI technology. What? What? That doesn't make sense. That almost makes as much sense as an Alberta separatist going and getting his treaty card right after signing that petition. That makes about as much sense as that. You know, and yes, I'm talking about somebody. Like, fuck. Just none of this makes sense. And tell you the truth, when it comes to these data centers, I don't think we're ever going to know what they're actually fully used for because it's definitely not for us. It's definitely not for us, and it can't be for the electronic or the transfer from human race building things and packaging things. And these data centers can't just be for robots to package products. Like once you have a program, it's there. You don't need individual programs for each individual robot. It just doesn't make sense. There's something super crazy happening with these data centers. And it's good. I hear a lot of people in the States right now are trying to stand up for this, but they're doing this land entitlement BS on them right now, where they say if the government needs this land, they could rightfully take it from you without any legal prosecution against the government at all. And it's not the first time that's happened. This happened like in the 1800s. For example, in the UK, what is this what is it during the evolution industrial revolution in the 1870 to 1880, where the industrial revolution was coming into play. They were using land title rights to remove the smaller farmers, so these bigger farmers, the more wealthier farmers, could take their land from them and farm all that land to themselves. So like time is happening over again. The same thing's happening over again. It's just happening in a different way. We're in a form of a new industrial age, and 1870 to 1880, there's 10 years there where everything went completely upside down. People losing their jobs, a kind of a form of depression, and then just an imbalance of the way funding or money was being transferred throughout countries, throughout their own country, and just throughout the world in general. The industrial age really screwed everything up, and yeah, they were kind of walking before they could run. And the exact same thing is happening right now. And to say that it's not, well, look at history. Look at any time something this significant has happened. There's been a massive decline in something, and mostly population or jobs. Well, we already see it happening with the job market. Yeah, that's old news, Tolga. I've seen that. That's old news, man. They've been doing that for probably over a year now. It's just the technology, the cameras are getting better, and now they're getting better data. Well, better collection, better ways of collecting this data. So it's happening, and like some of the stuff that they're getting these guys to do, like I feel bad for these workers too, because they know what they're doing. They have to know what they're doing, and they're like, "Okay, what are like?" It's not like they'd be like, "I'm not wearing this." Blah blah blah. Fuck that. It's like, no, you're gonna fucking do that. You're gonna fucking wear it, and then when we're done with you, goodbye. Yeah, yeah. Using the workers as simulators. Yeah, it's and a oh and assimilate. That's another thing. A simulation. Simulation. Uh, sorry, one word. Assimilation. Yeah, we're all gonna get screwed here. Interesting. So yeah, I know, because we're on the same page of things, and it's just frustrating, man. Like I try and get the word out there, but you can't talk to a rock. And it's just so mentally frustrating when you see people doing something in well, it's like watching somebody hit their hand with a hammer 3 times. Like, what do? You take the fucking hammer away from them. I can't sit there and keep watching people do the same thing. And Albert Einstein said it the best. If you do something 3 or more times, expecting, well, do something 3 or more times the exact same way, expecting different results, that is insanity. It's never going to happen, and this is exactly what these people are doing. And even with the Alberta separatists, with this uh, with this referendum, like they're talking. I had just said this, but this is them again. Okay, if we don't win this referendum, we can like tweak the next one so we can win the next election. Okay, now there's Einstein's theory at its best right there. You're gonna do something. You got to do it 3 times, or you're just gonna keep doing it, keep banging your head against the wall because it doesn't make any sense. Like if it doesn't work this first time, it's got to be quashed because right now it's not going to work. And look at Quebec. They tried it once. Have they tried to do it again? Yes, there was some chatter about it. No, never going to happen. Oh, yeah, and then just have it, wording. Wording is a big thing. Like this is another reason I've been watching a lot of George Carlin. A lot of the stuff I talk about has to do with wording too. Stuff is being worded in ways to make it seem like it's beneficial, and it's not beneficial. They put that little tweak in there to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and people think they're getting a big fucking prize at the end, and there is no prize at the end of the road. If anything, it's going to be more problems, like the legalization of marijuana. People are like, whoa, we got weed, blah blah blah. Now look at all the laws that have come into act since they legalized marijuana. See, that was their agenda. We'll let them have the weed, but now here, stricter driving rules, stricter, everything became stricter. Like back in the day, you could have an ounce of weed on you, right? Cops pull you over, blah, blah. Give me the weed. Give the cop the weed. You take that bag, go back home. I don't want to see you for the rest of the week. Okay. Stay out of trouble. Wow. Now is insane. Like you have to realize back in the day, if you had an ounce of weed and you're caught in a car, you're probably stoned and driving. And the car probably just reeks of weed. So back then you wouldn't get it impaired. They just throw out your weed. So they want to deal with that. Like, oh, take you to court, blah blah blah. Some kid with some weed and his friends, just trying to have a good time. And now the mentality is like, okay, now you're getting it impaired. Now I'm going to charge you for this weed. And by the way, the weed you have right now is not in a government labeled bag. It doesn't have a tax stamp. Oh, where's the tax stamp on this one? Oh, you could just see the top of the tax stamp on there. So yeah, imagine if I had this bag right inside the car and the cop doesn't see this tax stamp. Now that's yeah. Now I could get charged for that. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's so messed up. But it's funny as I sit here and I smoke these, which are illegal. I pay $3.75 for a 20 pack. But if I was to go to the store and buy, we call them tailor mades because they're made by a factory, hence tailor mades. So if I went to the store, this pack of smokes, well, not this pack specifically, but if I would get Pall Mall Bold Extra King size, it would be $17.68 for 20 cigarettes. But then if I was going to go get 5 more smokes and get a 25 pack, they literally charge you an extra $5 for 5 cigarettes. So a buck of smoke extra just for those extra cigarettes, which doesn't make any sense. And then when I was buying cartons of 20s, I'm still getting 200 cigarettes. So I'd pay back in the day, I'd pay like $86 for a carton of TaylorMade's 20 packs. So 200 cigarettes still. But if I was to switch that to 25 packs, still 200 cigarettes, I would pay $102 because it's in a 25 pack, but I'm still getting 200 cigarettes. How does it jump $20 just because of packaging? Figure that one out, eh? I remember when I started telling people that, they didn't believe me. Then they started buying 20 packs because you save $20 per carton and you're still getting the same amount of cigarettes. Doesn't make any sense. And fuck 2-4, man, with you being where you are, I'd be heading to Quebec, man, and fuck, get all your smokes there. Well, you probably get contrabands where you are, but even your liquor, go get your beer and stuff. There's nothing stopping you now to be bringing liquor from Quebec to where you are. I know there was a few people who took that to court and ended up winning, but there was a lot of people who lost too. But as far as I know, it's kosher across the board. You don't have to claim taxes, provincial taxes on liquor you're bringing in from Quebec anymore. Like, fuck, I'd do it. And even if they did arrest or take you to court, you can fight it. Like, enough people have fought it and won it now. And it doesn't make sense why the way the taxation is broke up throughout Canada. You buy a product in Canada, and this is the legal basis that these guys had. It says in our Canadian Constitution, you purchase a product in Canada, it's good anywhere in Canada. Okay, so what does that legislation really define then? Like where it was purchased? No, it doesn't define any of that. It just specifically says a product in Canada, produced in Canada, or sold in Canada, anywhere in Canada, is good anywhere in Canada. 30? That's not too bad. I was getting them online for $34, mailed to me in 2 days. And not only that, mailed by WestJet. Figure that out. Cigarettes, as long as you order 4 cartons at $34, yeah, after everything, it'd be $34 per carton, mailed to me in 2 days via WestJet. No shit. I remember the last time I ordered smokes, uh, the receipt inside the box, it was for a candle company out of BC. I looked up the candle company, doesn't exist. And then the time before that, it was an exercise equipment store. Yeah, exercise equipment and selling cigarettes. Yeah. And that I looked up that company. It was an industrial area in Vancouver, and the building was still for sale. So there was nobody in this derelict building or anything. So it's pretty funny to watch stuff like that. And then there's talk here in Manitoba. Like, I've had some friends say that they know a guy who knew a guy who got busted ordering cigarettes through the mail. What? What? Okay. First of all, how? How? Unless he was ordering like a case, case of fucking cigarettes, there should be no reason why he'd be getting busted with cigarettes through the Canada Post. I know people who mail drugs in Canada Post. There was a big postal bust in Manitoba because I believe it's the UN gang out of BC and Ontario is kind of where they are now. They got quite a presence in BC, Alberta, some into Saskatchewan. There were quite a few UN members in Winnipeg. There's a big bust in Winnipeg where they said they had captured some of these drugs being transferred through the mail and different types of different types of postage, whether it's private courier or even just people in semi trucks or vehicles with traps inside. But I don't. It's all fucked up. The UN, the United Nations gang, they'll let anybody in. Holy fuck. $2.08 to $2.50, and approximately 85% of the price is tax. Yeah. Well, what's funny is our cigarettes, about 85% of that is tax too. Actually, I think it's even less than that. I think cigarette companies are only making around 10% on their product. So, and then what is it in the UK? They just banned anyone born after 2019 will never be able to purchase cigarettes. Cool, let's just open another black market for kids. You know what's going to happen. You tell kids not to do something, they're going to do it. So it's just going to open up another black market for, people to make money illegitimately and tax free. Oh, tell you the truth, I should just start selling drugs again. I know where to go to get the good drugs, and then I wouldn't have to do anything to them. See, that's the one thing. People always think they get drugs. Oh, I got to do something to it. I got to do something to it. No, just leave the drugs the way they are. You know, like if you have good cocaine, don't fucking touch it. Like just leave it as is. I think I was putting per ounce, I was only putting 1 gram of baking soda per ounces per cut. So really, I'm making like an extra $80 per ounce. Woo! Actually, a little bit more than that. It's probably about an extra 120 because of the way I divvy it up. But yeah, if I could get back into the LSD scene, the ecstasy scene, cocaine, say fuck the weed. There's no point of having weed. It stinks up your house, and then you have to divvy it all up. It's bulky. Just keep all the stuff that you can hide around. Yeah, I got a supplier. I got a couple suppliers I could go back to. Just funding. If I'm gonna do it, I'd like to take like at least 2 or 3 grand and just grab everything and start with that. Yeah, I don't want to start off all small again. Took me a while to get up to where I was. It was funny, even the people I was getting coke from, they couldn't believe the amount of drug connections I had. It's so funny. Ecstasy, LSD, GHB, DMT, PCP, even pharmaceuticals, 100 milligram morphines, oxycodones, lorazepams, diazepams. Like, holy fuck. Like, it was so funny when people would ask me, hey, do you know where I can get some of this stuff? Okay, how much? Okay, what? No, yeah, how much do you want? And then what size of pills do you want? What? There's different sizes to the pills? Okay, you're not getting drugs. If you don't know what the drugs are, I probably wouldn't sell them to you. Yeah, it's hard to find good drugs nowadays. Everything's been so manufactured. Like I remember when people like made like ecstasy and LSD, like they put their heart into it, their soul into those drugs. You know, you get LSD now, it comes up from Mexico or Asia. It's so manufactured, like you could just tell. You know, it's not the same like Mother Gaia feeling. It's very mechanical feeling. It's like, okay. And then when it ends, it ends. It's like, wow, never had acid like that before. You literally, normally you're tripping so hard by the end that you just pass out. You're like, oh fuck, you just can't take anymore. And then you wake up the next, well, it's probably already the next day. You wake up a couple hours later and you're still tripping. Then you got to go with the fucking wife to the grocery store, and the fucking vegetables and the cauliflower are still going like this. Come on, just play with us. Just play with us. Take us home and play with us. And holy fuck, like some of this stuff. Yeah, I figured those were prices per pack. But yeah, cartons of cigarettes here, yeah. And then Tailor-Mades. Holy crap, I smoked a Tailor-Made the other day and just not. I can't even smoke those. Those are worse tasting. You can really taste the chemicals. And with these, I noticed with the Tailor-Mades have little yellow dots on them, but this is not a Tailor-Made. Yeah, see, there's no little yellow dots on them. I noticed with the Tailor-Mades. Yeah. So what is that? What they're spraying on the tobacco? Because they obviously put something on the filters, because a lot of house fires, they were blaming, actually in Winnipeg, they were blaming house fires on these because they say they don't go out. And people are like, doing their fentanyl in the house and passing out with cigarette in their mouth and then burning the house down with them inside. It's like, okay. It's like, no, we want people smoking Tailor-Mades, like factory built cigarettes, so we'll have less house fires. What? So you tell me like this is what's starting house fires. Like, okay. So what are they putting in the cigarettes so that they go out? You know, what the hell is that? It's just more chemicals. At least with this, it's like somewhat okay. I have found like stalks of straw and tobacco beetles in here before, but whatever. You think regular store-bought cigarettes aren't going to have that shit in there too? Trying to remember. I had one carton of cigarettes, and it had all my cigarettes had the aluminum foil, but inside the cigarettes. I remember talking to the person on the phone. I was like, "The foil is inside my cigarettes," and she's like, "What? That can't be. That can't be." So I sent them one of the cigarettes back. They sent me a package, put the smoke in there, mailed it back, and they sent me a tub of tobacco, one of the big tubs of tobacco, and rolling papers. The thing of rolling papers, which is kind of funny. I don't know why they didn't send me vouchers for packs of smokes. But I guess they're from Rock City Tobacco, which is located in Quebec City. So they probably didn't know how the taxes would work, so they couldn't just give you a dollar amount voucher. So they just mailed me a cart or tub of fucking tobacco, and I mean like a tub, a big fucking tub. I can't remember how many grams it is. It was the biggest ones they had at the time. Ugh, craziness. But I should get cooking. The wife is going to be home momentarily, and still got to wait 20 minutes after. So she's got to take her. This is I don't get this either. She's got to take her insulin before she eats. How, how do you adjust for your blood sugars? This is what her doctors are telling her. Take your insulin, check your blood, adjust your insulin, take that amount of insulin, but then you eat. So what the fuck is the point of taking insulin to adjust your blood sugars? Like, anyone hear what I'm saying? Like, and this is the doctors saying this. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you eat, wait 20 minutes, then take your blood sugar because you're going to have all this extra sugar coming into your body. And it's still not going to be fully processed, but at least you got half of that taken care of with the insulin shot after eating. Like, I don't know. It almost seems like they're just trying to get rid of her. Seriously, with some of the stuff. And then there's been rumors. This is another thing. I don't know how true this is, but there's been rumors that they've been when they give you those IV bags, whether you need an IV bag or not, they might be putting encoded dyes in there. So if you go to a hospital multiple times and you're kind of just being a waste of hospital resources by just being a pain in the ass by what do you call it? Being a hypochondriac. Hypochondriac, you watch something on TV, a cancer program or a heart attack thing on heart disease, and literally the next day you're like, I think I'm having a heart attack. Well, apparently there's rumors that they're putting stuff in some of this IV bags for these people so they can keep track of them. So when they take your blood or something like that, take your blood, they can see how many times you're in and out of the hospital and what kind of pain in the ass you're going to be. They don't need records to be doing that, but yeah. And this is because the way hospital records work from province to province. So, yeah, interesting. We'll probably hear more about that in the future here, due to the fact that there's lots of AI technology coming into nanobots and nanotechnology that can flow like blood. Oh, that'll be interesting. And was it this is old news, but Apple released a or got a patent on what is it? Mind something with mind control, where they can get into your thoughts using their AirPods. It was just a patent though, but by the looks of it, there's some companies right now that are looking into this patent pretty hardcore. And then there's some people in California that are saying that they're hearing voices and it's a big group of people. There's like over 100 people in the states, just in this one part of California, that say that they have voices in their head. And these people aren't schizophrenic or anything, so that's interesting. Like they have a whole group. But yeah, I should probably rock and roll. I gotta go back and do my butler duties. Make sure food is cooked and the house is cleaned up and the toilet's flushed. But yeah, let's see what kind of nonsense comes up in the news for tomorrow. I know there's a few things I still got to finish writing for today, and some things I didn't talk about that I should have talked about. But anyways, I'm out of here. We'll be back for tomorrow, you guys. And yeah, if I don't see you guys, have a great week and enjoy this weather. I know it's raining for you there too, but I don't know. It'll keep the dust down. I don't know how much rain you guys got, but we need it really bad in the prairies. It's pretty bad. So, but anyways, I'm out of here. Peace out, you guys, and have a good one. Oh yeah, Tolga, thanks for that heads up thing there. That was pretty cool. I'm gonna talk about that tomorrow though.